Every day, people walk around the world and see the same things over and over again, just at the surface. But what if you could see the same world with a whole new view? Scuba diving is one way to see the planet in a whole new perspective. Intro to Scuba Diving is one class that's offered at UNA. It's available to all students at all levels. I've personally taken the course, and I will be certified as of March 30th, 2014. There are certain prerequisites to start scuba diving and obtain certification, along with basic knowledge of skills and risks. I will be going over the requirements, both financial, physical, and mental, the equipment, a basic dive, and the risks associated with diving. Scuba certification requirements include a swim test, which is a 300-yard snorkel swim, a 10-minute water tread. There's a classroom fee of $300 on top of your normal tuition. This covers the cost of your textbook as well as the equipment costs. Each time you refill a canister with air, it's going to be $8, so that accounts, all of the equipment and maintenance accounts for that $300. You also have to complete a medical questionnaire. The questionnaire is basically just making sure that you are capable both physically and mentally to scuba dive, because it is a physical activity. If you're overweight, if you have heart problems, it might not be something that you want to participate in. Also, as far as mentally, anxiety plays a big role in scuba diving because you are surrounded by water, not near the surface, and it can feel a little bit claustrophobic. The classroom hours, there are 5 weeks worth of classes, so it's not even a full semester. Each class is 4 hours long. There's 2 hours of lecture and 2 hours of diving. The lecture is divided into 2 parts. There's the movie part, which is about an hour long, and then 1 hour is devoted to going over the next chapter and taking a quiz on the previous chapters. The practice dives, you spend 2 hours in the pool on campus at UNA, and you go over a variety of skills there as well. You can take this class in Huntsville instead. There are full weekend courses where you would do 1 whole day worth of classes and then 1 whole day worth of pool exercises, which is kind of nice because you get it out of the way, but on the other hand, it's exhausting. I don't think that I would personally recommend it. Plus, it's a little more expensive with the commute to Huntsville, and then I think they actually charge a little more than campus does. After you finish the classroom exercises and practice confined dives, then you're on your way to doing a dive in the field. You have to do 4 dives with an instructor present. So over spring break, that weekend, I'm going myself with 3 other classmates and the instructor to Vortex Springs in Florida to get my certification. There's certain equipment that needs to be used for diving. Sorry. There are a variety of different diving suits. There are wetsuits, dry suits, and bodysuits. Wetsuits are for colder water. Dry suits are for very cold water. You actually don't get wet at all. It completely confines your body. And then there's bodysuits, which are for really warm water. You also would need fins and snorkels. And then comes the more technical gear, which includes a buoyancy control device, which is also abbreviated as BCD. It's one of those vests. It has an inflatable bladder on it, which fills with air as necessary to control how buoyant you are. There's a cylinder band in the back that holds your oxygen tank. The jacket adjusts so that it fits you better. And then there's also the low pressure inflator mechanism, which is one strap that hangs off, and you can inflate the bladder at a push of a button or deflate the bladder. If for some reason it's not working, these people have thought of everything, and you can actually inflate it manually by blowing into it. Your regulator controls the airflow from your cylinder to various different places. It has 5 parts. The first stage is the hub, which has the rest of the tubes connected to it. The second stage is your oxygen. It's where you breathe from. The alternate air source is where your buddy would breathe from. You always dive with a buddy, so it's important that you're there for them if they need you to be. The last part of the regulator is the submersible pressure gauge. Oh my goodness. Submersible pressure gauge, which shows your air pressure and how much is left for air. Another essential piece of equipment is your dive computer, which tells how long you've been underwater, the depth that you are, and your dissolved nitrogen levels, which is important because your body will shut down if you have nitrogen sickness. You can only dive so many times, and your dive computer will keep track of that. You can also use charts, but they're outdated, and it takes a while to figure them out. I would probably end up having to do all the math down there and be unable to get to the surface in time. Other equipment includes a weight belt, which controls your buoyancy. In case of an emergency, you can drop your weights and float to the surface much quicker, say if you were out of air or something scary like that. There's also a ridiculous amount of accessories that you can buy. Cutting tools, compasses, bags, just random gear. None of it's a necessity. Everything that I've gone over is a necessity though. So now that we have all of our equipment set up and we've been through some classroom sessions, we'll take our first basic dive. So to set up, you want to prepare with a buddy. You have to make sure all your equipment is functional and the canister does not come loose from your BCD. And then you want to plan your dive, where exactly you're going to go, how long you'll be staying, and etc. Then it's time to jump in the water. You want to take one step off of the boat or dock, a very large step, while keeping your regulator pushed in and your goggles stayed on. Then once you jump off, you inflate your BCD immediately and signal to the boat or dock that you're okay. When you're in the water, this is okay, but when you're signaling further away where people can't see you, you would go like this. Then you want to actually go down into the water. So you have to confirm that your buddy is ready. Orient yourself with something at the surface, such as the boat or the dock, or it could be a cliff if you're open water diving, anything like that. Then you switch from your snorkel back to your regulator, check your dive computer, and deflate your BCD. When you start descending, you want to clear your ears early and often. Your ears will start to feel a lot of pressure, and if you can't clear them, it could cause injury to your eardrums. If you're unable to do that, you have to swim up a little bit, try again, and swim back down. If it's not clearing at all, you're probably just going to have to dive on a different day. To ascend a dive, signal to your buddy that you wish to return. Check your dive computer to make sure that you have time to get to the surface without making a safety stop. If you stay too long on the bottom of the ocean, you'll have to stop in the water to make sure your body can properly depressurize. Look up and hold your BCD deflator hose. Ascend slowly at about 30 feet per minute and reach up as you break the water's surface, making sure to watch for any obstacles that may be overhead. Like any outdoor adventure activity, scuba diving has certain risks associated with it. There are lung overexpansion injuries. Keeping breathing is one of the most important rules in scuba diving. While you ascend, the air in your lungs expands, but if you breathe, that's not a big deal because you're constantly regulating it. If you stop breathing, it becomes like a balloon where the air is expanding but there's nowhere for it to go, so you can actually burst your lungs. If you end up getting an overexpansion injury, you have to go to a decompression chamber, which aren't always immediately in the vicinity, and it's like $80,000 for one day use. It's really expensive and really not worth the risk. Make sure to continue to breathe. According to the Divers Alert Network, approximately 1,000 U.S. scuba divers are affected each year by decompression sickness. Reverse blocks are when overexpanding air is trapped in your body. Like when I was talking about your ears being clogged, it's like that. Except it can also happen in your joints or your stomach if you have indigestion. Never dive with a cold because that will cause even more pressure in your ears, and if you take medicine or anything like that, it could wear off while you're diving and cause a whole bunch of problems while you're trying to get back up from a dive. Hypothermia or overheating could occur. The best way to avoid that is to use appropriate equipment for your dive. The appropriate wetsuit or dry suit or bodysuit for diving. A lot of the overheating occurs when you put on your suit too early or your BCD too early and you're overstressing your body. If that happens, take everything off and hop in the water, or at least take off your BCD with the canister attached. If you can't get warm and you are feeling hypothermic in the water, you should immediately return to the surface and get on the boat, get dry, and get warm. Scuba diving takes place in nature, so you're constantly surrounded by wildlife. It wouldn't be unusual to get bit or scratched while scuba diving. It usually occurs when you get too close to an animal that is wild and they feel threatened. You shouldn't touch anything that's living because you don't know if it's poisonous or not. Also, coral looks really pretty, but it's also really sharp and can be enormously affected by human touch, so you really shouldn't touch or disturb anything at the bottom of the water. Sharks are really uncommon to see. You shouldn't really see them unless you seek them out. If they start getting you should stay at a good distance if you do see one, but don't be worried. They generally keep away. If you start getting close to them, swim slowly and calmly away. If you get tangled up, which is also a possibility, try not to twist or turn, and just use a knife or cutting tool to get yourself free. So after describing the prerequisites, basics, and risks associated with diving, you should have a basic understanding of what beginner-level scuba diving entails. Scuba is a fantastic way to explore one of the final frontiers known to this planet. It is a perfect way to see Earth in a way that you never have before.